Well, I had a great time outside just now, so I came here really early this morning, actually. I was here already at 7. No, a little after 7:30, I guess. No, I guess a little later. Oh my god, no. After 9. No, so I was outside. It was a nice day. It was 6 degrees. So I was outside for a couple hours from 7 to 9, and then when I got... Anyway, just what do people do when they're homeless? I mean, you're outside, right? When you're in your house, how far out are you moving? So you're not moving very far outside, so you're basically just standing around. I happen to have a chair with me now, so I'm sitting down much of the time. And when I find myself with some extra time, I usually undo my pipe and have a toke or two outside on whatever corner I'm on. So time just goes. Anyway, now that I got this whole situation figured out between where to sleep and where to hang out during the day for as minimal cash as I can possibly spend, which is $33 a month. And that includes my food bill even. I have now maximized the amount of money that I have free in my life from the Canadian government. Thank you, Gunter Lorberg, the psychiatrist who said that I'm permanently mentally disabled in Ontario. So, and then also to the psychiatrist here in Vancouver, who on July 4th sent me back to Ontario thinking that the psychiatrist they were going to pick up where they left off and put me right back into solitary confinement. But unfortunately, the police that escorted me off the airplane told me that a recording was now allowed in Ontario, so we're all good. I can go. I got back to BC via Newfoundland, and then I have an Ontario health card that started August 10th, but the psychiatrist in BC said he was returning me to Ontario on July 4th. So like a 6-week discrepancy there. Also, I had applied for BC housing here in May. That application was lost because the idiot doctors and cops who sent it. Like, why are these people messing up my life? I'm in the middle of trying to pick up the pieces of getting back to China, which is like, Taiwan is telling the world that Taipei is the capital of China. I don't even understand why there's any argument about this on the news. Like, there should not be any argument about this. The United Nations voted about that in 1971. Anyway, so I have a cold and I was outside and it was nice. I came here and I looked at the clock and the clock was just before 10. So I had enough time to go back to the homeless shelter and ask them, hey, do you have an address I could use to get a package sent to me here? They're like, oh yeah, because it's a homeless shelter. What are the homeless people going to do for an address? I got enough problems with the phone number. Oh my God, don't get me started on that. Who uses a telephone number anymore? Why would I have a telephone number? So, anyway. Plus, it's all answering the telephone. I'm happy I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. I just use wherever, whatever, whenever. And that's basically how it goes. And so I had this idea about increasing the amount of money I have every month. And so because of something else that happened, I ran into some other guy outside. And anyway, yeah, so there's an interesting way that life flows through connections, and you end up circling right back around, and you're just laying it flat, sideways even, and it's really hard to conceptualize, because I had a really great time outside, and I'm probably not allowed to tell you any more of it, because there's, I just want to tell you guys that we're okay, everybody's just fine upstairs, and thank you very much. So, and I am also in, what was the realization there? Timbuktu, Vancouver. Basically. I can't remember what the original realization was. What I wanted to show you is, a while back I found this magnet. Right here. And, it's really strong. Oh, I had another thought today. I could go back to the property office. They might have my money because they might have separated that. It was in a a soda cracker container. You know when you buy the 4 tubes of soda crackers. I probably bought the cheapest one. I know it was yellow, so I'm guessing it was no name. But I don't think City Market sells no name, so it might have been. Anyway, it was a yellow one. Lots of yellow on the outside. And then inside, I put all the things that I wanted to bring over to my buddy Dan's place, because it was more secure than the homeless shelter where I was staying, which was Belkin House. The lockers there are sometimes. Anyway, this is just some things you don't do. And so I put the things I didn't want to lose into that. And on the 11th of November, the cops came into Dan's apartment, and they tried to kick me out without allowing me to explain the situation and keep my relationship with my friend Dan. And unfortunately, it tore another hole into my life, because now I've lost my best friend Dan. The consequences of that are me moving to the shelter that he really did not want to go to, and then now having achieved my own office space, which I would not have had if I was still best friends with Dan. So I'm finding that I'm using the police to like as a springboard, and so the psychiatrists there at Royal Columbian Hospital were saying that I was harassing the police with these emails, and you can find them in the mail out folder at vlog.2dream.ca. There's a free speech, constitutional free speech, and if you're bitching about something, you're allowed to bitch to the people in authority. Like, just fucking lay it out to them, and then have them react, and then eventually you're gonna get a sticker on you that says, "Don't fucking talk to this guy, don't interrupt this guy, don't even approach this guy, look away from this guy, if you see this guy, go the other way." Stamped on his forehead. And then you're gonna clue into the fact that we share one universe in the logical sense, and each person is wound with their own logical clock, and once you figure that fucking shit out, then so you're interacting with the logical clocks of everybody else. Now it boils down to, oh my god, this guy's unusual luck in my environment. Like, does everything work for this guy? Oh my god, what the fuck happened to him? Does his head explode and now picking up the pieces? Like, oh my god. Like, just seriously, it's your shit, your mess. You deal with it. This is ReneTV. And someone else can help me market that. Yeah, that's basically what it's going to amount down to. So I'm going to be a reality TV show, I guess. And that ensures transparency. And transparency is the only way we're going to get around this, because, and that's a very good word, actually, because transparency does mean honesty, but honesty also means consistency, which unfortunately means that my clock is internally, externally consistent, more so than everybody else's around. And I'm well aware of that. So it's not really my situation to deal with. I've been dealing with your situations for the last 12 years. Now it's your turn. Just laying it out there. Peace of mind, you could say. My 2 cents. I got a penny on me, even in my coat pocket. 2005. I looked at the date today. Like, it's just, did we think about the disappearing pennies when we made that penny? Was my thought. Because there wouldn't have been any point in making a penny. However, we did think about it. And then we made it, just like we were thinking about printing $5 coins now, but we're still using the notes. And we've made them even better. Now they're plastic and washable. This is really cool. I mean, the Taiwan kids there, they just freaked out about that. Yeah, Canadian dollar bills. Colorful and washable. Yeah, awesome. So it's a lot of fun, actually, to use cash. And then, I can't really think of much else to say. I've already probably said way more than I thought I was going to say when I turned the thing on. But it just kind of goes that way. And I just kind of up and down. Because I'm also getting psychic feedback of the statements that I'm making now that I will post to the internet that will basically become internal statements that way. And they'll invade the psychic subnet, which is what you call the collective shared unconscious. And that will produce an echo, like an emotional wave, you can say, a ripple effect. And I'm getting the visual, clairaudience is the word, feedback from that. So I'm basically a spiritual medium, in one sense of the word. Another one is I'm a ghost eater. I would be with the Holy Ghost if they spelled it correctly. It's WHOLEY. And since we don't know what we're talking about, either way, both of us, we're just completely opposite that way. I did hear the echo, though. He is as smart as you are, so I'm clearly talking to somebody. But I do also know that I've already made my own partnership with myself, and that I am an incomplete half. And I've been able to work around that. To the point where yesterday I learned that my definition of tolerance had always been find a workaround. So I just know what the word tolerance meant. As I'm listening to commercials in my environment now, I'm like, oh, tolerance means don't just snap at everybody for listening to a single commercial, because I like really super sensitive toward commercials. My poor wife in Taiwan wouldn't go into any restaurants with a TV with me. She's just like, that's the TV we're going out. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So tolerance means a little bit of like, relax a little. That was Michael's, another homeless guy. Many people named Michael. Yeah. Right now I'm thinking of the hypnotist Michael Lawyer, who was put away in the USA, which is a land that also respects common law. In God we trust. And that means that a case that was valid, that if a judge accepted something as fact in the United States, because the country is common law, you can cite that court case in Canada and use that then as precedence, which means it's already been established as fact. So in that case, it was a family court lawyer who had hypnotized 6 of his clients and had sex with them during the lawyer's session. And they, clued into it after a few rounds, I guess. And the prosecutors didn't believe it. They're like, no way. And then they wiretapped one girl, and then they had to rush in to stop her from being raped again. like unbelievable. So the judge was like, I have to accept this. So anyway, what they did there was to allow somebody to say, oh, I hypnotized you. And in this case, I had a little confrontation with a psychiatrist at Vancouver General Hospital on July 28th, 2024. You may have heard about it, and we'll not mention her name because she's going to be rewriting the DSM manual to be more in accord with A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles it's a medical textbook, and I'm explaining that in the lawsuit that I'm writing. The guy that wrote it is just a genius. Just genius. He was a Chinese spy. He designed the building specifically to have his office be closer to the spiritual medium who was drawing the book down. On top of being one of the directors of the MK Ultra mind control experience and the CIA experiments of the CIA as well, and a 4-year editor of a major journal or a Harvard journal, I don't know, something there. Anyway, it's like Columbia University is a prestigious medical school, and he designed the building where he was director of the whatever, and he may not have had the MD beside his name. That guy was building MDs. There was anyway, so he wrote A Course in Miracles basically. Came through Helen. Helen didn't know what was going on, and she was arguing with herself the whole time, but Bill was able to see through it. And Ken ruined it a little bit when he added a little bit of a religious spin to it. Bill was less of a religious guy that way. It was good, better. Anyway, acim.2dream.ca. And I started this project by deciding, what that book says, I'm going to go with. I'm going to say that book is true, and I'm going to, whatever else that says the whole world is not real, fine, then fucking fix the world for me. If I'm asleep, then wake me up and fix this world. And that's what I said. And that was basically it. And then, wow, then my fingers would start typing the weirdest stuff. I had a whole 100-page story go on with pictures and stuff, and it made sense to me when I was writing it, but in the after effect, when I'm looking at it, it was not at all what I was reading when I was reading it. And I can understand why then A Course in Miracles would say the state of revelation is not transcribable. You can't put it into words. You try, and you'll end up with disjointed shadows of the fourth, fifth, sixth dimensions that you were seeing compressed into one to understand that you're all of it. Like, it's just, it's like, did you ever watch Dr. Quantum Visits Flatland? Because that has a nice little comparison between the second and third dimension. Now, you gotta understand that the dimensions grow exponentially, but the thing that is between them, that's the constant part. Focus on the constant part. And then you find out there's simple little truths like double negatives. Have no inconsistent goals. Oh, if I have no inconsistent goals, we can fix this planet together. Yeah, it's you and me. In no inconsistent goals, let's go. Okay, well, but we're not God. Yeah, well, see, that's the environment. So, okay, we'll call the environment God. Okay. So when China and Russia say the motherland is your God, I get that now. Didn't get that before. They are more honest. China really does own Taiwan. Russia really does own the Ukraine. I am not a fan of people that deceive other people. And Israel has lost its head over a property argument that it has no right to even claim or start or talk about. So they should take their hats off. In celebration even. And lay their pens down. As a salute. And then, what else? Well, there's going to be some new rules and some redefined rules. They're not illegal on the international scale, but since you guys don't have any clue what you're doing here in the city of Vancouver, I'm going to just drive for a while. And we're going to see where I wind up and how quickly I can become the Governor General of Canada in the official position so that I can talk to the King of England and say either I'm after your job or you're going to give me some land outright here in Canada. And I think you'll agree and just give me whatever land I want to do something better for the world. And I'm going to just build a new city and it's going to be way better than yours because I know I can do it better. How do you know these things? You know, I looked at those millennium math problems. Okay, first you have to understand. The whole trouble with math is you got these positive numbers and you got these negative numbers, right? Reflections. We understand this. And then you got this zero space. Well, what's the reflection of a zero space? Well, the answer has to be 2. Because it's both of the... It's a reflection of the negative and it's a reflection of the positive. So the reflection of the zero space is both the reflection of the negative and the positive, so it's bigger than everything combined. So you're actually, you're talking about infinity plus 1, infinity plus infinity right there anyway. But then you're going to try to divide that, like 1 divided by 0, or incorporate that into math. 1 divided by 0? What are you thinking? Think you're going to get an answer there? So this is nothing. That's literally nothing. You know, the answer of 1 divided by 0 is actually nothing. So, everybody's wrong. And since nobody really knows what they're doing in math either, I did have a look at the Millennium Problems from the perspective of the world. I did solve 3 of them in an afternoon, and I am sort of the solution to P versus NP, presenting that. But there's a few of them that were just nonsense, they were not solvable. And I just read it and I understand it. You know, you put it to me in English and I just see a way through it. So, use your psychic ears. Look at the feathers more. Because they mean that the angels are with us. And even if the angels don't exist, and the angels are just your own imagination, your own construct of a higher being, at least you got yourself a workable construct. Do you know how many messed up people don't even have a workable construct? And believe me, whatever is out there that is logically congruent with everything else will definitely work with every possible workable construct. So yes, angels definitely exist. And the angel number, by the way, is 1, 2, 3, 4.